Jamie Dornan breaks silence about Dakota Johnson. I kept this hidden for too long. Nearly a decade after the film 50 Shades of Grey shocked the world, the names of Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson are still linked together in the public mind. Although both have pursued different artistic paths, branched out in their careers, and built separate personal lives, the invisible connection between them has never really been severed in the hearts of fans. However, no one expected that, in a closed-circuit interview at an exclusive event in Venice, Jamie Dornan suddenly revealed a never-before-revealed confession. A sincere, profound statement that made the audience silent for a few seconds, and then exploded in the online community. "I've never said this in public," Jamie said, his eyes looking far away, "but I think I fell in love with Dakota, in a way I wasn't brave enough to face at the time." The interview was not broadcast live, only recorded internally. But like any story worth telling, the confession couldn't stay in the dark. 3 days later, a clip of the quote went viral on social media, opening with Jamie's pensive gaze and ending with a sad smile. Bond and distance. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, two names once considered the epitome of screen appeal, were not only co-stars but were also said to have a strong friendship behind the scenes. During the filming of 50 Shades, they spent countless hours together, daring scenes, intense rehearsals, work trips, late-night meals after filming. But everything was always kept within limits. Neither confirmed any relationship beyond that of colleagues. Jamie was married to actress and musician Amelia Warner at the time, while Dakota kept her personal life private. For years, both sides avoided personal questions as the press tried to dig up the real story between them. People speculated, people paired them together, but Jamie and Dakota kept their cool, as if everything was just a media figment of their imagination. So when Jamie spoke up, it wasn't just news, it was an emotional earthquake, confession and unseen depths. In that interview, Jamie continued, "Dakota is the kind of person you don't forget. She understands you, even when you haven't said anything. One time, when I was going through a really bad time, she didn't ask, she didn't force me to talk, she just sat next to me and shared a cup of coffee. Sometimes, that's all you need," the host, a veteran Italian journalist, simply asked. "So do you think you love her?" And Jamie nodded. "No fuss, no cover-up. I think a part of me will always love her. But I also know, if I said it then, I would break a lot of things." The statement, when widely shared, caused social networks to explode. Millions of comments appeared under the video. Some were touched, some were skeptical, some were regretful. But one thing was undeniable, it was real emotion. Not a pre-made sensational story, but the late burst of a man who had tried to hide his feelings. Dakota responds in silence. After the clip went viral, people immediately waited for Dakota Johnson's reaction. There was no official statement, no social media post, no interview in response. She chose silence, a silence that was thick and full of meaning. A source close to Dakota said, "She was emotional, but also surprised." Dakota did not expect Jamie to say that, especially now, when everything was so far away. Fans began to look back for old moments, Dakota's glances at Jamie at press conferences, the light touches on red carpets, the private jokes that only the two of them understood. It was like a whole timeline was being recreated, through the lens of, could have been. What didn't happen, and what still remains, Jamie shared more later in the interview. "There were moments I almost said. One time, when we were shooting in France, the scene lasted 14 hours. After we finished, the crew was exhausted, but Dakota sat down and read me poetry in French. She wasn't fluent, but she tried. It was a night where I thought I should do something, but I didn't. I chose to keep my distance. Because of responsibility. Because of family. Because I was afraid. The story didn't turn into love. There was no secret relationship, no scandal. Just a deep, quiet connection, and a missed beat. But as Jamie admits, honesty isn't always timely. Sometimes, it comes when there's nothing left to salvage, leaving only a belated admission as a way of forgiving yourself. Fans. Mixed emotions. The public reaction was divided into three directions. Supporters, they felt Jamie had finally bravely faced his true feelings. They saw it as a beautiful, albeit belated, act, and sympathized with the hardships of a man living under the pressure of family, fame, and responsibility. Critics, they thought Jamie's public confession, when he had a family, was disrespectful to his ex-wife. Some even thought it was a belated way to polish his name, although there was no evidence that was the intention. Regretful people, they didn't blame, didn't absolutely support, but they felt sad. Because the story was too real, too human, and too late. Could it have been a new beginning? In an appearance after the event, Jamie was asked, if you had a second chance, would you have said it sooner? He laughed, yes, but the opportunity doesn't always repeat itself. Some newspapers immediately ran the headline, Jamie Dornan opens the way for a reunion with Dakota. But Jamie immediately denied it. No, I didn't say that to suggest anything. I said it to free myself. Dakota remained silent, but in an interview a few weeks later, when asked, do you believe that a deep relationship can be simply a connection of souls, without a name? Dakota replied, I do. Some relationships don't need a name. They just exist, and sometimes, existing in memory is enough. When confession is a gift, the story of Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, though just a slice of celebrity life, touches the deepest part of each of us. Who hasn't loved someone but couldn't say it? Who hasn't held back a feeling because they thought they shouldn't hurt anyone else? Jamie doesn't say it to start something. He says it to end something that never started, but always existed. And as he admits, loving someone doesn't mean you have to be with them. Sometimes, love is keeping your distance, and accepting that you are each other's light in the darkness. Quote,